Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I am Scott, and you, my dear friends, are in the new and improved Prog Corner, where today it's part 2 of your favorite Prog album covers. Oh yeah, we're doing numbers 51 through 75 today, and your suggestions have been phenomenal. You guys nominated them, and I'm ranking them. I made a couple errors on part 1. Peter Brinkley did not nominate Space Hymns by Ramses. That, I think, was 365 Days of Prog. I think Naomi brought to my attention that it opens up as a 6-panel thing. It's just awesome. Peter Brinkley's nomination will be in the next episode, and I forgot to credit the All Traps on Earth, the Drop in Light album cover. That was the great Goran Gabrajic. Nominated that one. So on we go with part 2. Oh, and they just get better and better, don't they? At number 75, it's Steve Hackett and Please Don't Touch by the great Wizard O' Fox. Thank you, sir. One of my very first subscribers. An excellent call. His second album, his first outside of the mothership Genesis. The artwork was done by his wife, Kim Poor. They weren't married yet. They got married in 1981. This album came out in 78. They ended up getting divorced in 2007, and it was a really nasty one. I guess she was part of Hackett's management team, and she was demanding royalties and telling him he can never record another album without her input, all kinds of crazy stuff. At number 74, another Roger Dean cover. It's Fly From Here. And this one comes courtesy of Olivier Godfrey, or Jeffrey. Olivier Jeffrey. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Maybe you can help me out with that in the comments. This was the 2011 return after, yes, had been quiet for a while and John Anderson had been gone. So now we got Benoit David singing on this thing. Kind of a, return to drama, almost that same type of lineup. Oliver Wakeman got kicked out of the band so that Steve Howe could kind of, do the whole drama part 2 thing. I love the album cover. That green is just really cool. Yes, it never had a super greeny album cover since Close to the Edge, so it was really nice looking. I liked it a lot. Thank you so much for that one. At number 73, yes, we have assumed control. The Solar Federation has spoken, and Hugh Syme dropped it. Yeah, the 2112 album cover is so iconic. The album came out in 1976, obviously their 4th album. This was the album that was do or die for the band, and they doubled down on everything that they were doing and came up with this incredible story and the artwork with the Starman and the Star logo. It's just amazing. And then on the back, you have the pictures of the 3 boys in the band wearing their best kimonos. It's just great stuff. At number 72, how about going to Norway with Fatal Fusion and their second album, The Ancient Tale? The artist here is Stig Signs, who I am not familiar with at all. This nomination came courtesy one of my Twitter followers. This is Mr. Slipmat. I like these guys a lot. They're on Charisma. I've heard a few of their records. I think they've got 4 out. I do like them. They're a little heavier than what I usually listen to. The vocals take some getting used to, but that album cover is really great. At number 71, it's Phil Manzanera and 801, not to be confused with the 801 live album, which came out in 1976 in the UK, 1978 in the US. This is the 1977 studio album, which uses most of the same guys that were on that 801 live. So you've got, of course, Phil Manzanera, you got Brian Eno, you got Simon Phillips, Francis Monkman. Yeah, really great. But on that 801 live album, you also had Godley and Cream and Tim Finn and Eddie Jobson. But this live album is actually a better album, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the studio album, and it's a good record, but it's a great album cover because that live album cover was terrible. So Phil did a better job with that. Is it a better record? I don't know. I kind of like the live one, with the Beatles covers and stuff. It's pretty fun. At number 70, our first Hypnosis cover of the day. It's Pink Floyd, Ummagumma, 1969. in. This is a follow-up to their More soundtrack. The following year, they would drop Atom Heart Mother. But Ummagumma is such a cool album cover. Years before I ever even heard the music therein, I would just stare at that Drost effect, you know, where you got the mirror and the mirror and the mirror and the mirror. And then I noticed there was something in the very middle. As a little kid, I had no idea, but apparently it's a saucer full of secrets. If you look at the old versions of the album, you can see that in there. Very, very cool. Thank you, Graham Wright, for that suggestion. Very, very cool. 1970. Wow, so much great music coming out, 69 and 70. But now we're going to go to 1981. We're going back up north, and it's Rush's second live album, Exit Stage Left. This is a cool, I do like the first live album, All the World's a Stage, probably a little bit better, but this is a better package, it's a better image, and it's so cool. Kind of like Iron Maiden Somewhere in Time, where there's all those little Easter eggs scattered all over. Hugh Syme kind of does a similar thing here, where all 8 Rush studio albums are represented somewhere on the album cover. It's really, really cool. I like it a lot. And this was nominated by the Solar Federation. How appropriate is that? At number 68. This one comes courtesy Automat, and it's Bo Hansson's Attic Thoughts. This was his third album from 1975. The artist here is a guy named Jan Turnhold. I think it's a guy, Jan Turnhold. He also did Bo Hansson's second album, The Magician's Hat. Really cool. I like this album cover. You see Bo with the keyboards and stuff. Kind of gives you a flavor for what the album's all about. But Bo Hansson's amazing. I like all 4 of his 70s albums. I like the album covers, and this is probably my favorite of the 4. At number 67, it's Time Honored Ghosts from Barclay James Harvest, their 6th album that dropped in 1975. It's a great, great image. I love the colors. I love the artwork. Yeah, it's inspired, obviously, by Maxfield Parrish, but the artist here is Bill Dare. The Barclay James Harvest logo was done by Jeff Halpin, and this one comes courtesy Chris Riches. Yet another one of my Twitter followers. Thank you. A great suggestion, a great album cover, and a really cool band. I like them a lot. At number 66, thank you, Mark Spooner, for this one. It's Jade Warrior, man. Oh, yeah, these guys are great. I haven't listened to Jade Warrior in a long time, so thank you for that suggestion. It actually made me want to go back and listen to their first 4 or 5 albums, which I like a whole lot, actually. This is their 3rd album, dropped in 1972. The artist is Kunio Hagio, and it's definitely got a different look to a lot of their other albums, which were more in that Japanese style. But this is a great record. It's called Last Autumn's Dream. It was their 3rd LP, and I like Jade Warrior a lot. They're a great change of pace band, and I love how their artwork really does complement and really comment on the music that you'll find therein. At number 65. This one is for Ed Topo, and it's the Art Bears and Hopes and Fears. This is their 1978 debut album. I've never been crazy about the album cover on this one, but man, oh man, the music is just phenomenal. Fred Frith, Chris Cutler, Dagmar Krause. Wow, she's so good. Yeah, then you got contributions from Tim Hodgkinson, Lindsay Cooper, Peter Blegvad. Yeah, it's a who's who of avant-garde proggers on this album, and it's fantastic. But Ed Topo likes the album cover, so there it is at number 64. Is this Prog? Yeah, probably not. It's Billy Cobham and George Duke with the Live in Europe album, which came out in 1976 on Atlantic Records. Thank you, All Media Reviews. What a great, great channel you've got over there. But this album is cool. I remember looking at this album cover all the time with the cartoon dudes on there, and it's like, who are these guys? But it's a good record, and it's actually kind of a nifty little cover. I do like it. At number 63, one I probably should have ranked lower. I don't know why I didn't. I really don't like this album cover a whole lot. It's Riverside and Anno Domini. I love Riverside. I just don't know about this album cover. What are you people seeing in it? This is Dave Medhurst. I respect you, Dave. You've got great tastes in music. but I don't really understand why this is on the list. This is their fourth album. It dropped in 2009. The artist is Travis Smith. And the only other thing I know that he did was Glasshammer's Shadowlands album, which is actually a way better album cover. And at 1962, yeah, boy, that's the best year there is. At number 62, it is Glasshammer and Lex Rex, their sixth album, which dropped in 2002. This one was done by Rosanna Azar, and it was nominated by the Prog Network. This is a great album cover. I like how cerebral it is, and the images kind of, they don't show themselves right away. You kind of got to look at the album cover a little while to figure it out. I love it. At number 61, this is from Steve Alvinos, and it's Beggars Opera with their third album, Pathfinder. It's cool. You got the dude on the astronaut riding, wearing a spacesuit and a helmet, some astronaut riding a horse or something. I have no idea, but I really do like this album. I really like Beggars Opera, one of my favorite proto-prog bands. This was their third album. Their first two albums were great. This one was great. The artist here is Peter Goodfellow. And if you don't know Beggars Opera, man, Martin Griffith's voice is just so cool. And the guitar player, Ricky Gardner, was amazing. We lost him earlier this year. A great loss. R.I.P. to Ricky Gardner. At number 60, it's Jethro Tull and Stand Up. Thank you, Kevin O. Garcia. If you get the reissue of this album, you'd probably never know why it's on the list, but it's deserving to be on this list because in its original incarnation, it was like this wood carving thing that popped up like one of those kids' pop-up books. All the reissues have done away with that, so you lose the impact of that. But I guess Jethro Tull was on tour in the U.S. and Ian Anderson had seen this artist named James Grashow in Connecticut, and he really fell in love with his wood carvings and stuff, so he commissioned him to do the artwork for the album. It's really cool. I like it a lot. At number 59, it's Comus and First Utterance. Thank you, Hart Lore Taylor, for this one. Yeah, the artwork was done by the lead singer, Roger Wooten. This is a 1971 debut album, and the album cover, the artwork, man, does it speak to the music therein. It's kind of dark and creepy and scary. The image is memorable, and it definitely sticks in your mind, but most importantly, it does really comment on the music. I like it a lot. It's amazing. At number 58, let's go to Ireland and Fruup with Future Legends. This was their 1973 debut album. The artist here is Peter Farrelly, not to be confused with the Farrelly brothers, one of whom is a Peter who did all those comedies like Something About Mary and Me, Myself, and Irene and that kind of, those kind of movies. But no, this is a different Peter Farrelly. He also did their second album, Seven Secrets. Both are really great. Fruup put out 4 amazing albums in the 70s. Apparently there's a lost fifth album out there somewhere. How great would that be if we ever, got to see that one, if that ever came to the light of day. Thank you, Rob Vickers, for that suggestion. Fruup is amazing. At number 57, it's Anthony Phillips and his second album, Wise After the Event. Marcos Wagner Oliveira. Thank you. Awesome suggestion. The artist here is Peter Cross. This is a guy who has pretty much done all of that great Anthony Phillips artwork, The Geese and the Ghost. The episode 1, we had a Peter Cross thing. We had a Private Parts and Pieces Part 2. He did that. He did pretty much all of them. He did sides. He's just an amazing artist. And Anthony Phillips was really smart to use this guy pretty much exclusively. Looking at his website, I don't think he's ever done another album sleeve for another artist. He is kind of exclusively Anthony Phillips' guy, and you gotta love that. And number 56, this is a weird one. Man, I always look at this album cover and scratch my head. I'm like, what am I even supposed to be feeling about this? It's Porcupine Tree. It's in Absentia, their 7th album. It dropped in 2002 and heralded the arrival of Gavin Harrison in the band. But the image here from Lasse Hole, however you pronounce his name, he's a Danish photographer. I guess he had helped Steven Wilson with some Porcupine Tree music videos. He'd work with Opeth on some music videos. He did The Incident later on for the Porcupine, for Porcupine Tree. But he also worked with Soup, which is cool because I really like those guys. He's an amazing artist. I really, really like him. And this came to us from Brad McAvoy and Nick Luengo. Now, 2 people nominated it, so this probably should have been a little higher. The image is strong. It makes you think. It really does make you feel something. So, yeah, 56 is probably a little low. Sorry about that. At number 55, it's Marillion's second album, Fugazi. Thank you, Chi, however you pronounce your name there. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's Polish. CZYSZY, cheesy, something like that. Anyway, this album dropped in 1984, and if you're a Marillion fan, you know all about the great artwork of Mark Wilkinson. He did all 4 of the Fish albums, and then when Fish left, he did a bunch of Fish album covers. He was helped by Julie Hazelwood and Fish on this particular album. Fish always liked to, put his 2 cents worth in about the lyrics on the album, and Mark would, try to really translate that to the album covers. It's just great stuff. But this guy, this Mark Wilkinson, he's not only worked with Fish and Marillion, but he also did Painkiller for Judas Priest. He did Book of Souls and Senjutsu for Iron Maiden. Great artist, great suggestion. At number 54, I'm a little surprised it's this one. It's Hawkwind, Warrior at the Edge of Time. I kind of figured it'd be Hall of the Mountain Grill because that's one of my all-time favorite album covers, but nope, it's Warrior at the Edge of Time. Pierce Tubbs is the artist here. This came courtesy Lucas Ipey. If you don't know Hawkwind, this was their 5th album. This was right at the heart of their sweet spot. Lemmy's still in the band. They're still doing their stuff. But this artwork is just phenomenal. I remember listening to this album at Hall of the Mountain Grill as a kid, and just staring at that artwork and getting transported to another place. And that's exactly what a good sleeve does. At number 53... we're going back to Roger Deanville and One Live Badger. Thank you, Dennis Lynn, for this. A very cool cover by Roger Dean. A little different for him with the lighter shades. This one came out in 1973, so it predates Relayer with the, the lighter color palette. Badger was a band formed by Tony Kaye, and obviously he had John Anderson produce the album. John Anderson's old Warriors bandmate, David Foster, was a member of Badger. They did put out one more album called White Lady in 74 that was absolutely terrible, but One Life Badger is really great, and the artwork is amazing. I love it. At number 52, here's another artist who we've talked about in episode 1. We're talking about Pallas and the Sentinel, their debut album from 1984, and the artist in question is the great Patrick Woodruff. Yeah, we talked about him briefly in episode 1 with the, Budgie Bandolier. He did that album cover, but he's done so many great album covers. Sad Wings of Destiny for Judas Priest. Yeah, we talked about all that in episode 1, but Giovanni Caprini suggested this one. I can't disagree. It really did make neo-prog feel like the 70s had come back. Eddie Offord was producing, and he had this amazing artwork. Yeah, the Sentinel's a great record. And at number 51, we've got Song for America from Kansas. Their second album dropped in 1975. And I love this artwork. I love the talons, the bird. And most importantly, you now have a logo. First album didn't have the logo. It showed up on Song for America. They kind of put it away for their third album. Mask did not use it, but ever since Leftover Chiron, they kind of go back and forth with that logo. The artist here is a guy named Peter Lloyd, who we'll probably be talking about another Peter Lloyd album in a future episode here, so I'm not going to spoil it and say what other record Sleepy did, but apparently since around 1980, he's been a storyboard artist for Walt Disney, and most of his one of his most important works was the movie 1982 that Disney put out called Tron, not the remake but the original. I guess all the artwork was him. So yeah, that's Peter Lloyd. Good stuff. And who nominated that? Michael Bucham. Boy, I hope I No, is that right? Yeah. I hope I gave everybody the proper accreditation. I've had a few people suggest maybe I could just, put the names up on the screen. It's hard enough for me to even say them. How in the world am I going to type them? You guys have no idea how long it takes me to type stuff out. I am the absolute least tech savvy guy in the world. I can't type, which doesn't make any sense because I play guitar, I play keyboard. So why can't I type? Who knows? I don't know. I don't care. Maybe tomorrow we'll do part 3. What do you say, boys and girls? Does that sound like a good idea? Sounds like a good idea to me. Anyway, I will see you freaks on the flip flop. God save the king. Peace.